walk into the kitchen, you saw the look on my face, you saw the look on my had to get out of this place. I seen something I've never seen before. When you put on the pineapple, we couldn't be friends anymore. Pineapple thousand, go on pizza. It's a fruit and you know that. Pineapple thousand.
Hi everyone, welcome to the big preview show. It's not the usual gang. I've got PD Proudlock to my left and Shorty to my right, and we're going to be hearing from Sam just in a moment, and he's going to be bringing you the combined 11 putting Newcastle and Arsenal together. We're here to talk about the Newcastle perspective as well. Pete, I'll come to you. Obviously the lads have had a well-deserved break now. Yeah, we needed that, didn't we?
Definitely, yes, absolutely. I mean, like, because of like FA Cup replays, which technically shouldn't have happened there, in my opinion, should have got the job done the first time. But yeah, it's good to see that they've got a bit of a break for a bit now.
I think we needed it as well, especially with Christmas. Shorty as well. We had a few injury. I say crisis. It was at some extent, but then it's calmed down a little bit. Lads have obviously been refreshed now. You would think, hopefully, fingers crossed, in a couple of days when Bruce has his press conference, that there's no more injury worries going into this.
Well, that's what we want, because you were saying before there we're having too many injuries. Players were getting played out of position, and that's not what we wanted, and it was really concerning the fans. And given that we had the January as well, your question, did we do enough? It's hard to really say, really, but I'm hoping it's good news when Steve Bruce brings out his press conference for Arsenal, because at this moment in time we all know that Joe Linton pulled up in the last game against Oxford. Is he going to be back for that game? We don't know. Obviously the other three are out at this moment in time, but they could be back. That's what he said. We need a fully fit squad that is capable enough now with pushing on, and we're hoping now that this break has given them the motivation to just kick on for the rest of the season.
8 games unbeaten. We talked about it on the radio show, which was a crazy stat as well. I asked Sharky this on the radio show. I'll ask you on this. Danny Rose and Lazaro, would you start them?
Danny Rose, I definitely start. I think he's very experienced in this Premier League, and he knows what it's like to play against clubs like Arsenal, particularly when he has played them in the in the North London derbies, particularly. Lazaro, I would maybe look to bring him off the bench if
has he not proved it here yet?
I've not seen much of the lad out, to be honest. I haven't seen much of him at Inter Milan as well, or the other clubs he's been at as well. But Danny Rose, I definitely give a run out.
What do you do with Matt Ritchie then if Danny Rose comes in?
See, that's a tough one. See, I like Ritchie for his
because he could probably need a bit of graft.
Definitely, yes. Could you maybe see? You could maybe put Matt Ritchie maybe on the other side, on the right hand side, because we did used to play him on that side,
right further up, yeah.
Further up, yes. So could always maybe give
shout maybe right wing back. I don't know about that, mind, but Peter might let us know if you put Danny Rose in. I think it's great that Bruce has a bit of competition there, and I think it's good. You mentioned Joe Linton as well. It's mad to think that if he's not fit, we might not have Andy Carroll back or Dwight Gale. Hopefully Bruce confirms that we're having no more further injuries, as we'll touch upon. But I think he scored a couple of goals against League One, but he's put himself a little bit about now, and he had the head bandage in the Premier League home game. He's put himself about, got injured against Oxford, but you know what? He's slowly, he's not the answer. I think we know that, but he's slowly developing his game better, isn't he?
Yeah, I agree. I think it just takes a little bit of time. I think the pressure's on because of his price tag of how much he costs, and we demand that we get enough out of him for what we've paid for in goals. Yes, we all know that he's only got 1 goal in the Premier League, but you've mentioned the League One side in Oxford. He's got a goal there. Hoping that he's fit, he's confident, and that confidence should hopefully ooze into the game against Arsenal, who for me are very, I would say, defensively all over the place, and hopefully that gives him the confidence to maybe score his 2nd goal in the Premier League. And I think that is possible, you know, at Arsenal away. It's going to be tough, but I think he still needs a little bit more support, I would say, from those around him.
I think also just having Andy Carroll, even if he comes off the bench, to change the game up and maybe go a little bit direct. Sure, you just touched upon Arsenal's defence there being a little bit. Got to get ESM on the ball. You've got to get Almiron running them, because there's errors prone there.
Definitely. I mean, they've been vulnerable at the back for a lot of times now. and you just wonder why they've been conceding so many goals a lot of the time. They have, particularly away from home, like last season. Their away form towards the end of the season was shocking, and towards the end of the 2017-18 season, again, their away form was absolutely shocking at that point as well, and that's how they've been also finishing outside the top 4 places as well, and only managed to get Europa League football at the end of the season.
Probably it might be actually a good thing for them not getting that extra games and just focusing on domestic stuff. I know it's not for money wise, don't get me wrong, but yeah, David Luiz against ASM. I hope that happens at some point during the game. I really do. Oh, yeah, or Mustafi. Oh, I think Socrates is probably the best centre back probably out of them. He's all right, he's solid, isn't he? Get a few score predictions before we hear from the combined 11. Before we get your score prediction, how do we set up? How do we approach the game?
Well, it's easy for everyone to say that we should start off sort of defend and then go for it. I think we should be positive and go for it against Arsenal. I think they are vulnerable, as Peter said. You know, the ASM against David Luiz, there's only one winner there for me, and that's got to be Alan
I hope that does happen.
But, you know, listen, if you look at Arsenal, right, and I've watched them so many times this season, and this is why they've changed manager, because they've had so many issues at the back and they've conceded so many goals. If we can get an early goal, then they've got to go for it, you know, looking at Arsenal. Yeah, exactly. And they're going to be open at the back, and that means we can potentially go and get a second. That has obviously been our problem at times, trying to get the second and killing it off. But I think going on Arsenal, I'm not scared of them. I think we've got nothing to lose. You know, we're confident after the FA Cup win, and you say we're 8 unbeaten. We're going to the Emirates. I think there's no better time to get something than that.
Score prediction then?
I want to see we win, but I'll play it safe. I'll go for a 1-1 draw. As long as we come away with at least a point, I'll take that. It's all about building for me.
Yeah, I've already said 1-1 draw with Sharky as well. Do you expect Newcastle to just let Arsenal have all the ball? We'll counter-attack it. Easy for me to say. We'll sit back, because that's how we've been playing. It's very lethargic.
Yeah, it has been.
I wouldn't say... Well, no, it is stressful watching the tune, because we'll sit there and just try and give it Almiron, give it Saint-Maximin. Is that how Bruce is going to go?
He probably will be, yes, because you've just touched upon what I've been doing at the press there, previous games. So I think Newcastle, I think they would be happy to let Arsenal majority have the ball and like try and frustrate them, definitely. So a defence is on my game.
Goal prediction.
I'm going to play it safe, like what Shorty did as well. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw.
Well, I can for draws, yeah. Can I believe that? Alright, so here is Sam, and he's going to run you through a combined 11 with Newcastle players and Arsenal players. How many Toon players get in this? Have a look.
Formation for my combined 11 is my personal favourite, 4-2-3-1. And straight away, in goals, it's a tricky call, but I'm going with Dubravka. I do quite like Leno at Arsenal, but the amount of times Dubravka has got us out of jail this season, he deserves to be in the sticks for this one. Start on the right-hand side of the defence, so right back, I'm going with Hector Bellerin. I actually quite like Bellerin. I think his injuries have put pay to his progression somewhat, and with the defence Arsenal have had down the years, he's never going to look his best. So I think if he can stay injury free, he can really turn into one of the best right backs in the league. Whether that will happen, time will tell. Centre back partnership, I've gone for the 2 strongest out and out defenders in my opinion, which are both Newcastle players, and they are Florian Lejeune and Jamal Lascelles. Obviously in our first season back in the Prem, we saw them play in this system under Rafa Benitez, and they looked solid as anything if you ask me. Left back, I've gone for Danny Rose. Now I know we've not seen him in a Newcastle shirt for more than 10 minutes. I mean, essentially it's Rose versus Kolasinac, emergence of Chilwell now. He's no longer England's first choice left back, but he was for a many number of years. So from a pedigree standpoint, I think Rose has got the edge out of the 2. I'm playing a back 4 as well. I don't think that'll suit the likes of Richie, so that's why I've gone for Danny Rose. Sitting in front of the defence, the 2 I've gone for in midfield. Now I've got to admit I struggled with this one. The first one I've gone for is Torreira of Arsenal. I think he's a cracking little player. He's not kicked on as expected this season. However, that's probably down to Arsenal's form in general, really, and the mess of a season that they've had under Emery, then Ljungberg, and now Arteta. Alongside Torreira, do you go for Shelvey, who's obviously Newcastle's top scorer this season? Do you go for Isaac Hayden, who most would agree is probably first choice in Newcastle's midfield? Do you go for one of the Longstaffs? Do you go for Granit Xhaka? I've gone for Guendouzi, purely because he's touted as a future Arsenal captain. He's started really well to his Arsenal career in difficult circumstances. Obviously, the team's not been performing as expected. And to be honest, would a John Joe Shelvey attract interest from Arsenal in the transfer market? Or, you know, obviously Hayden started at Arsenal. I can't see any of our midfielders getting into an Arsenal side anytime soon, so that's why I've gone for Guendouzi. On my right wing, I've gone for ASM, the Gucci man himself. The guy makes stuff happen. A live wire, he's electric. We've got to keep him fit because he will be the difference between finishing 16th, 17th, hopefully not lower, or 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. We need to keep him fit. He's the key going forward. If he finds consistency and an end product to his game, then my word, we have a proper player on our hands. In the number 10 role, behind the striker, I've gone for Mesut Ozil. Now, this guy obviously divides opinion and can be a bit of a controversial figure, but the guy's won pretty much everything there is to win. On his day, he's one hell of a player, and he always seems to play well against us, which is obviously a bit of a concern for Sunday. Hopefully he has an absolute stinker, but he gets the number 10 role in my combined 11. Now, on the left-hand side, I've actually written down Martinelli, who's obviously come to prominence this season. The guy's got 10 goals already for Arsenal this season, which is incredible for the kid. He looks a real prospect. He can play on the left and as a central striker, which can be said for Aubameyang, which is my final pick. So them two can interchange. Aubameyang, we all know about him. What would have been had we have actually signed him in 2011 when we were interested in him. Wonderful player, wonderful striker, 16 goals this season, 25 goals this season, no bother. Hopefully we can keep him quiet on Sunday. There was arguments for putting obviously Lacazette. We haven't seen the best of Nicola Pepe yet in an Arsenal shirt. And of course Almiron, who I'm a big fan of, don't get me wrong. He just needs to, well, he doesn't get in the team over the likes of Mesut Ozil and Martinelli, who's had a great start to his career. So there you have it. Fingers crossed for a positive result on Sunday, and I'll see you there.
Right, the batteries went dead. Look, gone. Battery's gone down, so we have to improvise on that. So that has been the show. Obviously, go and have a look at 100% NUFC. There'll be Arsenal videos there. PD Proudlock, he'll be doing Arsenal content as well. Stay tuned, everyone. We'll see you at the Emirates. Ta-da. Bye-bye.
When I walk into the kitchen, you saw the look on my face. You saw the look on my heart to get out of this place. I sensed something I've never seen before. When you put on the pineapple, we couldn't be friends anymore. Pineapple blossoms, go on pizza.